Welcome to Angel Air. Thank you so much for tuning in to this exact same moment, time, and place. My name is Anita Mayberry, and here today I have a very, very dear friend and special guest to my heart, beautiful Charles, a.k.a. Chuck Marquette, and he has a truly lovely story about how Spirit has inspired him on his journey and on his path. And I'm going to open up the floor to you, Chuck. Can you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about your story and how you opened your heart and your soul to the divine spirit above? I'd love to hear that.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm honored and I'm grateful and I'm humbled to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here.
It's so lovely to see you again.
It's so
It's
great
been
to
a while.
see you too.
Yeah, I remember, I'll never forget it, as long as I live, the first time we met.
You're gonna put me in tears.
It was at a LabCorp, and I remember you were getting ready to move and change jobs, and you had to have some blood work done, and I was there for a urine test for a job as well. Yeah. And like I didn't have anything to worry about as far as passing criminal or driving record because I had none. Yeah. Thank God for that. But but anyway, I mean, I was in such a way with addiction because I was active for over 40 years in drugs and alcohol. Mm-hmm. I started at the age of 13, and it all came to an end at the age of 55. And well, that day when we had met, for 4 days, all I did was drink water, thinking that I could flush my system out and I'll pass this test, right? And that's all I had to do was just pass this test, and I was guaranteed the job. And that morning, for 4 days, I drank the water, but particularly that morning, right after I got up out of bed, I drank a half a gallon of water. And I took 3 quarts of water with me for the walk. And I drank that. And for those prior days, all I did was go to the bathroom. I hate to say that, but
it's all right. Be free,
every 5 to 10 minutes I was going to the bathroom, right? And I couldn't stop for 4 days. It was like that. For some reason, when I got there, I was called in right away, and I couldn't go. I don't know why, I just couldn't go. And so they had told me to sit in the lobby for about a half an hour, and they would call on me again. And so I did, and about 15 minutes later, that's when you walked in. All business-like, and you sat a couple chairs away from me, and I noticed you were wearing this necklace. Very beautiful wooden necklace. I never saw anything like it.
Thank you.
And you were on your laptop, and so I said, okay, I'll wait, right? And as soon as you were done, I made note, and I asked you if it was okay if I could make note of your necklace, and you said sure, and I did. And right after we started, as soon as you started opening up your mouth, something came into my head where God sent this woman to me for a reason. Because your voice is such angelic. I love it.
Thank you.
And we talked, and then they called you in to have your blood done, and then I had to go. I had to go now. I don't care who's I gotta go now.
Throw out.
I have to go now. And I did, and then after I was through, I passed by where you had just gotten done having your blood work done, and I asked you if I could walk you to your car, and you said yeah. And we talked for a few minutes because you told me you were in a hurry to leave. But then you asked me for my phone number, which I didn't have a phone at the time.
I remember.
Yeah.
I had to track you down.
Yeah,
and make sure you were okay after this.
Yeah, and you told me you were moving, and it didn't hit me whether they asked you to move, to help you move or not. But anyway, before you got in your car, you asked me for a hug. come here and give me a hug before we leave. And I did, and there was such a sensation and a feeling inside my heart that it felt like it just opened up. And I felt all this love come in my heart. And I never felt anything like that in my life. And I've been married twice, never felt anything like it. And things kept rolling along that day for me, and I thought when I got to my friend's store, I said, wait a minute, I never asked her if I could help her move. And I called you, and you said, of course, and I told you where I lived at, you picked me up. And but during the course of that day, I'm hanging around my friend's store, and I saw all these people going to church. And I've been watching them for days doing this, right? It was an afternoon mass. And all of a sudden, like, there was about maybe 8 friends of mine that were there, and I just turned around and started walking with all these people. And they said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to church. What are you, crazy? Are you nuts? I said, maybe so, I'm going. You want to come? No, I don't want to come, I'm going. And I did. And from that day on, I just kept going. That same night was, I wasn't instructed, but I was mentioned from a friend of mine that, like, say, hey, you know, you're a really good guy, but you need to prove that to yourself. And because I didn't believe it. Yeah. All the manipulating, the drug use, the alcohol, the stealing, and everything else that goes along with addiction and obsession. He got a hold of me that night, called me up, and said, look, there's a 12-step fellowship. You know, why don't you go? And he said, what do you got to lose? If you don't like what you hear, you can leave. Yeah. So I did, and I felt that same kind of passion and love in the room. And I looked around the room, and I noticed that it didn't look like a person ever got high a day in their life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was amazing. And I got up, and it felt like I was the only one in the room, and the speaker there was talking directly to me, because for whatever reason, they were telling me my story, what was going on, my life in that day in particular.
Isn't that interesting how spirit can come to you like that?
Oh, absolutely.
The message is just so right on. It's just, you feel like it was destined just for you to hear that.
Yes.
And how you take that information and you slowly digest it for yourself, and things start to happen. Yeah. Continue, please.
Now, I didn't specifically go there, to be honest, to quit using drugs. I thought maybe I could use successfully. Okay. Okay, and live my life, and live a normal life successfully using.
You're being honest with yourself.
Yeah. What I got over time was more than I could ever imagine. I found purpose. And I just, you know, I was going to this one meeting on a Saturday night, not knowing that it was a recovery house at the time. And certain things happened in my family, with my family, and one day I had just, like, you know, I had a couple months clean, and I said, I have to do it now. And I just confessed to my mom what I did for all those years and what I was doing to her. And it didn't stop there. I just started calling my family and my sisters and everybody, and just told them all. Something just came over me that I had to tell them. Yeah. And I did. And unfortunately, about a month and a half later, a cousin of mine had died. And my one sister who came over to tell my mom that her nephew had died, he was very close. We were very close. We have another cousin as well. The 3 of us were born 2 months apart. Wow. So we kind of grew up in our adolescence. And but anyway, I went to hug my niece who escorted my sister there, and I gave her a hug, she gave me a hug, and I went to hug my sister, and she turned her back on me and walked away.
Wow. How did you feel with that?
I didn't get mad.
You didn't get mad?
Normally I would have. Normally that would have been my first reaction, like, who do you think you are? I'm your brother. You're going to walk away from me like that. But I understood.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was going to church every day. I was going to a chapel mass every morning and going to meetings 2, 3 a day. And then my other sister who owned the house where me and my mom lived in, she told me I had to leave. I let the house go. I let my life go. I had to go.
So what did you do?
The one place that I went to, all those meetings on Saturday nights, that God had a purpose for me going there every Saturday night. I got to know the guys who were living there, and I went there that afternoon, and I asked for help. I never ever asked anybody for help.
How did you feel when you asked for help? What was the emotion through you?
I was broken. I just couldn't depend on myself anymore. You know what I mean? I always did my whole life.
Yeah.
And my way of thinking over thinking back, everything I've worked for all those years, my 2 marriages, and I always found a way to throw them away and destroy them. And I didn't know how to hold on to succeeding. You know, I was always afraid of failure. I was always in fear of failure and succession, because from prior times I've known that every time I succeeded at something, for whatever reason it was, I had to destroy it. You know, and so I asked for help at the recovery house, and it just happened to be a Christian recovery house. And then I got it. God sent me here for these meetings, all those Saturday nights, to find him. And I found him there. And it wasn't easy. For somebody like me, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to let go of my old way of thinking. And I mean, I was just so self-centered in myself that everything had to be about me. You know, I had to be in front of everything and everybody. It was a pleasure to know who I was. Okay. But as time went on, and I kept running into this one guy that I met the first night in every meeting I went to. He just kept telling me, keep coming back. It gets better. And I would ask him what he meant by it.
Yeah.
You know? And he just said, you'll find out when the time's right.
How about that?
I can't tell you, but you'll know when it happens.
Yeah.
And it wasn't material things. It wasn't job searching or relationships with other females or whatever. You know, it was what I call POM, peace of mind, and serenity.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Once I felt that, once I let go, and I just let God, my higher power, enter my life. With my higher power, I choose to call God and Jesus. You know, once I let go of him and just let him control my life, I felt that serenity and peace that my friend was talking about. That's what he was talking about.
And you got it.
And I got it. And now it's hard for me to tell whichever came first. As far as the principles of life, the main godly principles of life is honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, surrender, and patience. And I don't know what came first. I guess the open-mindedness rather, because I had to be open-minded to admit to myself in that first meeting I ever went to that I was an addict and I needed help.
Wow.
So I believe it was the open-mindedness and everything else that I worked on. The willingness to try things that were different, that I wasn't used to, that uncomfortability that people talk about, became comfortable.
And that's the vast growth within your soul, letting yourself expand
Mm-hmm.
and really feel what it feels like to try a different pattern or just something different that you're not used to.
Yeah, right.
But look how beautiful your pattern is now.
And moving in, when I moved into the recovery house, We had to travel like 10 blocks to go to devotions every morning. Rain, sun, foul weather, whatever, we had to go. And I wasn't used to going every day, especially in the beginning. But I found myself, like, even when it rained out really hard, I went.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go. I wanted to go.
That's the difference.
Yeah. It got to be where I wanted to go. And some of the guys in the house were saying to me, like, you know, it's raining out, you don't have to go. Our director said, you don't have to go if it's raining that hard. I said, you know, you're making us look bad. I said, but you know, it's not about you. And I don't mean to, but this is what I do. This is what I need. I need to do this for me. You know, I have to get up and look myself in the mirror. I have to put my shoes on. I have to walk in those shoes. Nobody can walk in them, and I can't walk in anybody else's. But I know when I do that, I know God's next to me, all around me, not just next to me. He's got my back. Today, I'm so grateful just for waking up in the morning. God has given me a second chance to live my life for the first time. And I chase that, and I believe in it, and I couldn't do anything without him, you know? Whether I think I deserve it or not, to have another day of life, he does. And I couldn't be happier.
I can see it in your face.
I couldn't be
happier.
happier.
Feel that energy from you. To see you from...
I could feel his presence right now, and it's amazing. Like, it's a feeling that nothing in this world that I've experienced ever gave me. That peace inside and that happiness. You know? And when it rains out, I have you to thank for me being happy when it rains out. I really do. I'll never forget one morning I was going to devotions, and it was pouring out. And we were talking on the phone. I'll never forget what you told me, and I kept saying how miserable I was because it's raining out. I hate the rain. I can't do anything.
I love the rain.
And I'll never forget what you told me, and I've never gotten mad again after you told me that. It changed my whole perspective on the rain. It's God's way of washing away our sins and cleansing our souls. Through the 12-step fellowship that I belong to, I had heard a guy speaking one night, and I was talking to him after the meeting was over, and I said, man, one day I want to be up there. I want to do what you're doing. And he said, well, keep coming back, and after 90 days, if you still want this, somebody will ask you to do that. And it's happened. It's happened on quite a few occasions, as a matter of fact. I've been to CFCF to carry the message of recovery and higher power to inmates in jail. I've done that twice. I've went through rehabs and spread the message, and you know, it's gratifying to know that other people have faith in you to carry a message of hope.
Yes. That's one of the things that I really enjoy hearing about you when we do connect amongst everything else and everything beautiful that's really flourished for you, is the fact that you're taking your experience and something that has almost a calling for you, a purpose here for you, and taking that beautiful loving energy and allowing other people to see that there is hope for them, that they can get through these tough, trying times, and when they overcome them and they acknowledge them, they're able to step into a new energy field where it's all loving, all accepting, and all beautiful.
Oh, yes.
And I love whenever I see messages that you put in the media about, you know, presenting each day as a new day, and to allowing that energy to come in, and just feeling so blessed to be here.
Amazing.
And you are an inspiration to so many other people that even at the current age and time life that you're walking in right now, that you can change. There is always time for change.
Yes.
there's always that hope and there's that love that if people can just tap into, they can heal them on all different aspects of their life. And when you get up there and you stand in front of, you know, these different public speaking campaigns, you get up there and you spread your joy and you spread that message. And that means so much to those people who are looking for that inspiration. Like when you were speaking about how you saw that gentleman go up there and speak and how you wanted to do that, you wanted to acquire the knowledge and how you can go about that. You did what you needed to do and you followed the steps and you followed what you needed to.
I chased my recovery, I chased the Lord, the way I chased every obsession, drug use and alcoholism as I did then. I just keep coming back, and it's so wonderful that, again, like I said, that people have faith in me. You know, where I sponsor a couple guys, and they're not perfect, and neither am I. I'm going to have my bad days, but I have the tools and I have the faith in God that He'll push me through this. I've been through a lot worse in my life.
Yes,
you know,
expressed that to me in your story. Absolutely.
You know, I didn't think my life made a difference until one night I was out of my mind. It was early in recovery, and all my emotions and feelings were flying out of me all in every direction. And I had three choices that I had to make that one night when I went to a meeting, and it was get everything out in the open, or not even go in the meeting, just quit.
Yeah.
You know, because my disease was telling me to quit. You know, or get everything off my chest and everything out in the open and then quit. And I had one more decision and choice to make, was to keep coming back. And I expressed that at that meeting that night, and I didn't care whether I interrupted somebody or not. It just had to come out. You know, and I didn't know what my decision was. I really didn't, even when I you know, got called on to share. But the last thing I said out of my mouth was, I'm going to keep coming back. And then I sat down and I kept doing it ever since. It was that spirit that, it wasn't me who said it.
Yeah.
It was not me who said it.
Yeah. But see, that's the beauty about when you're open, like you had mentioned, and letting the divine come down through. How sometimes we say a message that almost sounds so profound, you're like, wait, where did that come from?
Yeah, really.
And it's your connection to the higher spirit.
Yeah.
And you know, now you are almost in a public eye for people who are traveling in their shoes, and you know, God bless you for that.
Thank you.
God bless you for that. And standing strong. And, you know, you were talking before we started here about, you know, how people see you around. Explain that a little bit.
Okay. Again, I didn't think I made a difference. But after that night, I went to another meeting, a different meeting, and this fellow came up to me, and I'd never seen him a day in my life.
Yeah.
Never knew who he was. And he said to me, your name's Chuck, isn't it? I said, yeah, how did you know? I never saw you before. He said, I heard about your message last night. You had one powerful message, and you've reached a lot of people, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
And then right then and there, I felt that I do make a difference.
You do. You do.
You know, and what I found was when I first walked into a meeting was my whole life, after that, I realized that I was searching for people who were like me. You know, who thought the way I did, acted the way I did everything I did, we all had so many similarities. You know, our personalities may have been different, but our similarities were the same. And for my whole life, I was looking for that, and I found it.
And you found it.
And I found it. And thank God I found it every day, you know.
Rejoice and feel blessed and live humbly, right?
For me, service to the Lord and for other people is what I live for today. I ask God, what could I do today to help another human being?
Oh, I love that. I love that message. If people could just take any energy from that and absorb any of that. Can you say that one more time for us, Chuck?
I wake up every morning and I ask God, please God, help me to help others. What can I do for another human being?
What can I do for another human being?
What can I do for you?
Oh, I love that.
You know,
it's
and
profound in its own way.
And I find joy in it. When other people, when I can make somebody happy and put a smile on their face.
That's what I love.
I've done my job, and I'm so happy
Exactly.
with them.
Yes, exactly.
You know, early on I said I found purpose, and that was my purpose. That's my purpose, to help other people. It's not about me anymore. You know, I don't have to be the center of attention anymore. I don't have to think that everything is going to go my way. It don't have to be. It doesn't have to be my way. It's God's way. You know, it's whatever it is. It's God's way.
So now with your family, with everything that has transpired, where are you now with your family? Because I know the tides have changed, allowing, you know, your love to come in and your love to be shined onto others, and the healing to take place that needed so vastly in the family, and that connection, especially with your sister. Please share a little bit about that. I'd love to touch on that. How it's going right now.
Well, the one sister who told me I had to leave my house, this past Easter Sunday, has given me the greatest gift that can't be seen. And I wear that on my wrist, believe the unseen. And what she had told me this past Easter Sunday at my mom's apartment was, her exact words were, I thought I would never ever say this to you, but I am so proud of you. No gift in this world could be as precious as that. Not for me anyway. It's those blessings that mean more to me than anything else in the world, and they all come from Him. They all come from God and what I do.
Love that.
You know?
That's the power of change.
Yeah.
The power of change. Change and growth and love and all of that combined together. Such a beautiful
So
moment.
powerful.
And I love that you're sitting here next to me today and getting to share your story, which is so important for the universe to just at least be open a little bit to the courage and the strength that you've empowered yourself to empower others, that they can move on, that there's hope and there's love and there's light and there's so much to look forward to in life. So enjoy it, embrace it, and live it and love it.
Yeah. God has more for me to do, and I don't know what He's got planned for me, but I'm ready, willing, and able to do whatever I can.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Chuck, for coming on Angel Air today and, you know, feeling free to be you and allowing your spirit to soar in a new heightened way and to allow your message to be heard, because it's very moving, and I just can't believe that it's been 2 years and to see you from the first moment we met up until now, how great your life has completely changed. And, you know, all the things that have unfolded for you, and being able to empower others and heal others through your messages and your energy and your care and your love, you know, for yourself and for humanity. It's absolutely beautiful. And you shine so bright. And you're such a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
And I can't thank you enough for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me today. I'm so humbled.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for tuning into Angel Air today and tuning into this exact same moment in time. It was lovely having you on our show today,
Thank
Chuck.
you. Thank you, Anita.
And we'll be in touch again.
Yes.
And you have a beautiful and blessed day. Thank you so much.